going on, guys? My name's Crav and welcome back to another tuning and building episode on Forza Motorsport 5. On screen right now is the KTM X-Bow. This car is basically the probably most known car in A-Class. It's pretty much #1 car for the whole entire leaderboard for A-Class. It's got a 1.6 litre engine in it. It's ridiculously fast, ridiculously grippy, and I think it's also pretty good for S-Class for most of the tracks. But yeah, so other than that, let's get started. So what are you going to need now? If you don't have already a X-Bow, you will need to go to buy cars, and you will need to go to K. There is K, and that's the one, the KTM X-Bow R, other known as the X-Bow, also in real life. Yeah, this car is ridiculously fast. Even stock, it's ridiculously fast. It's got 8.9 acceleration and 6.1 handling. It's not very good, like, speed-wise, but the acceleration is so good. It doesn't really matter for that. So let's go to the build-wise. It's a pretty straightforward build. What you're gonna need is a engine swap and a 1.6 litre. Don't worry about any of the other two. This 1.6 litre. It's gonna be rear-wheel drive, so don't bother putting it to all-wheel drive. Aero and appearance. Now this is the only thing different, is you're gonna have a stock front bumper. You will not need the race front bumper, only the stock front bumper. And the rear wing, you will have the race rear the race rear wing for this car. So you're gonna need that one just to give that adjustable downforce. Tires, we will have stock tires, so we don't need the race tire or the drag tires. We're gonna go with stock. Front tire width, we're gonna go all the way to the maximum. And on the rear we're gonna have all the way maximum as well. Rims will be, I'm pretty sure they're the lightest rims. Yep. So the Wed Sports TC 105Ns for me, or any weight equivalent. Drivetrain, we're gonna have no clutch. We're gonna have an sports transmission, so we can adjust that final drive. Driveline is gonna be race, and differential is gonna be race also. And on the brakes, oh, that wrong one. Platform and handling, we're gonna have race brakes, race roll bars, and a stock roll cage. You can put it in if you want to give that a little bit extra handling, but this car is pretty stable and it's got a lot of grip as well, so you do lose that a little bit of acceleration if you put it in. But other than that, I think the stock, a stock roll cage is probably the best build for this car. Now you can put the roll cage in for the tighter circuits, but I really don't suggest it, because it just puts out a little bit extra weight and it kills it through the acceleration, because this car is all about the acceleration, and you're just killing the acceleration if you do that. So I'd probably just go with the stock roll cage for that one. And last but not least, we're going to go to engine and restrictor plate. We are going to put it on the no restrictor plate. So that will be up to 435 horsepower and 516 pounds of torque. And the final weight will be 1820 pounds. 1820 pounds, should I say. Right, so that's the build. I'm just going to go to the front aero. Because if you put the front aero part on for this car, the front end is so ridiculously crazy. The amount of downforce you can put on the front compared to the rear is out of control, and that's why the car gets unstable. Basically, by taking that off and actually upgrading the front tire width all the way, because I think you could only go to you could only have the stock tire width, and even with the front bumper, it made a drastic difference. The car's balance was completely wrong. Yeah, it was just completely wrong. It had so much oversteer, throttle oversteer, just oversteer in general. It could not be driven like that. So basically, by having upgraded tyre width to the front, kind of helps the car balance a little bit better. There's no downforce on the front, but having that extra tire widths on the front also gives that little bit of extra steer that we've completely lost by having no adjustable downforce on the front. So it helps the car balance a lot better than actually having no tire width on the front and having the front bumper as well. Because I think the front bumper actually increases it, yeah, by 11 PI. So you're wasting 11 PI, and you can actually put the next engine upgrade, which helps the acceleration even more. And also because this car hasn't got much top end, by taking off the front splitter, you actually gain top end by not having the extra downforce on the car. So anyway, let's go to the upgrade, not the upgrades, the tune setup. On the front and rear, we will have 30 and 30 like always. You do have the gearbox right now, and with 1.6 litre engines, you need, because it's got a lot of torque, a very I think it's a short power band, and because you have to change revs from I think 5.5 to 5,008 RPM range sort of thing. So we want to increase lengthen all the gears as much as possible to carry all that torque all the way through. You actually gain so much more speed. So as you can see on the screen, is at 3 on the final drive. It's 147.9. If I go to 4, I'm relatively sure it will lose. Oh, okay. Well, this completely ruined my thing. Either way, you can drop the final drive all the way to the very end, to 2.7 to 3. I like it on 3 because it gives it. I think if you go too low, it makes the gears a bit too tall, and you do lose a bit of acceleration there. But you do need to lengthen out your gears. So by doing that, you need to have it on the speed side for the final drive. I have it on 3. I think it's a safe position to have. It's not too long, not too short, and yeah, so that's the gearing for that one. Alignments, we're gonna have negative 2.3 on the front and rear. That's for the camber. Toe, we're gonna have 0 on the front and 0 on the rear, and on the front caster we're gonna have 3.5. I'm not entirely sure why I put it there. Normally I have it on 5. I think it just helped the car a bit. It was a bit stabler with the car. Because the car had a lot of turning. Lost for words now. The caster helps give it a little bit more top end as well by having a little bit lower, and it also decreases the amount of turning that we get as well, because the car still turns in crazy, and it's all about the balance for this car because it has a lot of acceleration. We need to put that power down for that car, so that's why I've got it at 3.5. I'm pretty sure that's why I had it. But normally, if that doesn't work, just put it on 5 and it should be fine. The caster doesn't really make a big role in this game. It's more about the camber and the roll bars and the springs and damping and stuff like that. Okay, so we're at the roll bars, and as you can see, I got 10 on the front and 24 on the rear. Now, because we have no front splitter or front downforce parts, the car understeers a lot. So that's why I've got it on front is 10, so it's really soft on the front, and it's 24 on the rear. But this is my settings, and I prefer to have a bit more turn-in than most people. So if you want, you can increase the front roll bars to around about 18, and if you're still having trouble there, I'd suggest increasing that to 20 and then decrease the rear to around about 14. But I have it on 10 and 24 because that's my personal preference, and I think it's actually the fastest like that. And note that the increments say like 0.11. That doesn't really matter because when you load the game up or load a race up or change the setup or something like that, it actually just puts that random decimal at the very end. So always go by the point, the tenth, I think it's the 10th decimal, yeah, instead of the 100th decimals. Always go by the 10th decimals. Alright, so we're gonna go to springs, and as you can see, they're a lot closer. We got 3.47 on the front, and not 3.47. We got 347 pounds on the front and 363 pounds on the rear. It's relatively close. Let's try and keep the balance a little bit, softening the front a little bit just to give that extra turn in, like I said before. And yeah, that's basically it. It's pretty close. I think it helps with the balance of the car. If you are struggling a little bit with a bit of oversteer still, obviously you can increase the springs. I would probably go from 347 to probably just go with 405 or 400 to 410 range, just to help that out a little bit. But yeah, I have 347 on the front and 363 on the rear. Now ride height is going to be maximum on the front, and it will have 0 on the rear. The reason I have it on the front is because the front actually bottoms out a lot more. So I increase the front so it doesn't bottom out. And also, as I do that, it pushes the weight of the car down on the rear a lot more because the car is really high up in the air. And that increases the grip on the rear, and also helps with the acceleration as well on exits of corners. So that's why I have it on that. You can have it at 3, but like I said before, it does bottom out a little bit on the front. Surprisingly not as much as on the rear, and yeah, so that's why I have just pumped it all the way to the front. Dampening, I've got it 10.9 on the front. No, rebound I've got it on 10.9 on the front, and rear is 11. Bump stiffness is 1.8 on the front, and rear is 1.8. Standard setup for most of the cars. Like I said before, in the springs or anti-roll bars, if you're struggling with oversteer, obviously you can increase the front to 11.5 and the bump stiffness to 2.5, or just keep stiffening it up until you feel comfortable. But this is relatively just balanced setup. It's not really softening the front too much or stiffening the front. It's all basically balanced up for that one. So you shouldn't really have a problem. The main two will probably be the main one, which will be probably the anti-roll bars on the front and the rear, and maybe the springs slightly. But the dampening should be fine. Aero, we're going to have no front downforce because we haven't got the front splitter, obviously, and the rear we have 476, so that's maximum downforce on the rear. This is because we're in a higher class. We need all the downforce we can get, but it also helps traction because this car has a lot of torque, and it has an incredible amount of acceleration, which will light up those tires massively as well. And also, it'll keep it a lot balanced for the higher sweeper corners as well. You can drop it, but it's actually a lot of pounds of downforce on the rear. But you can drop it, but I always have it on the rear because this helps settle the car down a lot more than having it on probably like 400 or so. It's because 79 pounds of, I know it's not like groundbreaking, but that's a lot of difference. That's 3/4 way on the downforce bar compared to having it on full, and you need that extra downforce as well. Anyway, that's it. That's the downforce. Braking, obviously, that's your personal preference. I have 48% on the well, this is back to front, so it should be 52, or let's say 48% on the balance and 140 on the pressure. This is personal preference. You can have whatever you want. Like I've said in previous videos, this is your personal preference. To be safe, I probably would drop the pressure if you're locking up the brakes a lot more, to probably 100. That's standard. I have it a bit more because you can actually get a lot more response if you haven't got a trigger happy finger. My finger's pretty stable when I'm on the controller, so I don't really lock my brakes up that much. So that's why I have it at 140. So that's the brakes for that one, and differential is 40% on the acceleration and 16% on deceleration. So that's the tune, guys, and that's the build for this car. No, I do not want to set a setup change, and I'll show you where this car is. I haven't really done much A-Class, but a lot of my teammates have, and have used this car a lot more than me. Bathurst, I don't know if I've used it. Yeah, TPR Zermatt top 10. Calonia, I'm 55th, and that was on the that's on the 2nd of December 2013. TPR Zermatt, obviously 12th. Catalonia National, 17th. No, I think I used it in a lease there. 16th. So it's always in the top 20, and these times are really old. I do remember being 2nd or 3rd around Bugatti, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm 3rd around here. I was actually the first person ever to get into the 38s, which was a pretty cool achievement at the time. So yeah, it was number 1 there for a couple of months. Long Beach, I can't remember. No, I can't remember if anyone done that one. I do remember specifically Road Atlanta. The whole team actually had a go at this. So, and we actually got top 5. So that's TPR Chemical, Davey Skills, TPR Zermatt, Dantastic, and Craviator, which is me. We've actually locked out the whole top 5, which was pretty cool. And we all did it within the week as well. And we got TPR Lou as well, who's 7th place, and Tragic Manager, who's 10th. So that's basically 7 out of 10 of people using this car, and that's pretty cool. And I think we did the same thing around Road Atlanta Club as well. Oh, we got a couple of people in the way now. Yeah, so all these people, we've got into the 53s. TPR Zermatt, TPR Chemical, Davey, me, Tragic, Dantastic as well. Its car is ridiculously fast, and you shouldn't have a problem with if you use it in A class. And if you're new, this would probably be the best car to use online. Just remember, you got to change short shift because it's a 1.6 liter. You got to have it at change the revs at 5,500 RPM, and you shouldn't have a problem. Anyway, guys, this is another video of tuning and building, and I probably should post more often. I haven't got much work going on lately, so I probably will post a couple of episodes this week as well. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did like the video, please give this a like, thumbs up, and if you want to see more